Most people will waste 40% of their entire lives trying to convince idiots that water is wet, fire is hot, and the sky is blue. They'll spend decades explaining obvious truths to people who have made a career out of being professionally wrong. They'll exhaust their mental energy, destroy their peace of mind, and sacrifice their potential. All for the approval of individuals who couldn't find logic if it came with a GPS and a personal guide. The tragedy is not that stupid people exist. The tragedy is that intelligent people keep volunteering to be their unpaid teachers, while you're busy proving your right to people who will never admit it. Your competitors are busy building empires. Your dreams are collecting dust. And your destiny is waiting for you to stop wasting time on battles that were never meant to be fought. You know what the biggest waste of human potential is? It's not lack of education. It's not lack of opportunity. It's not even lack of resources. The biggest waste of human potential is spending your precious life force arguing with people who have already made up their minds to be wrong. I want to tell you about a man I encountered just last month. This man stood at a traffic intersection for 30 solid minutes, yelling at a red light. 30 minutes. He was furious that this traffic light wouldn't cooperate with his schedule. He screamed at it. He gestured wildly. He even kicked the metal pole. Cars were driving around him. People were staring, and yet he continued his passionate debate with a piece of metal and colored glass. Now, you might think this man was having some kind of breakdown, but I'm here to tell you that millions of people do this exact same thing every single day. They just do it with humans instead of traffic lights. They spend their valuable time, their irreplaceable energy, their God-given intelligence trying to convince people who have no intention of changing their position. Listen to me carefully. Your energy is not renewable on demand when you wake up in the morning. You have a certain amount of mental energy, emotional energy, and spiritual energy available to you for that day. Once you spend it, it's gone. You cannot go to the bank and withdraw more. You cannot call customer service and request a refill when it's spent. You have to wait until tomorrow to get more. And even then, you're not guaranteed the same amount. This is why every conversation you enter, every debate you engage in, every argument you participate in is an investment decision. You are investing your life force. The question becomes, what kind of return are you expecting on this investment? When you argue with someone who is committed to misunderstanding you, what return are you getting? When you try to explain logic to someone who has abandoned reason, what profit do you see? When you attempt to share truth with someone who has fallen in love with lies, what dividend does that pay? And I learned this lesson the hard way. Years ago, I spent hours trying to convince a colleague that 2 + 2 = 4. He insisted it equaled 5. I brought out calculators. I drew diagrams. I even brought in other people to verify the mathematics. And you know what happened? After 3 hours of discussion, he looked me straight in the eye and said, "Well, that's just your opinion." That day I realized something profound. Some people are not interested in truth. They're interested in being right. Some people are not seeking understanding. They're seeking validation for what they already believe. Some people don't want to learn. They want to teach you that you're wrong, even when you're demonstrably correct. This is when I discovered one of the most liberating principles in human existence. Intelligence recognizes when engagement is futile. A smart person knows when to walk away. A wise person understands that not every invitation to argue deserves a response. Think about this. Would you try to teach a fish to climb a tree? Of course not. You would recognize that the fish lacks the fundamental equipment necessary for tree climbing. It has fins, not legs. It has gills, not lungs, adapted for extended air exposure. The fish is perfectly designed for swimming, but completely unsuited for climbing. Yet somehow, when it comes to human interactions, we forget this basic principle. We try to teach people who lack the fundamental equipment for rational thought. We attempt to reason with individuals who have never developed the capacity for logical thinking. We exhaust ourselves trying to plant seeds of wisdom in minds that have become concrete. Here's what I want you to understand. This is not about superiority. This is not about thinking you're better than other people. This is about recognizing reality and responding appropriately. A farmer doesn't plant corn in concrete and then get frustrated when it doesn't grow. He recognizes that concrete is not suitable soil and plants somewhere else. Some people's minds have become like concrete. They are hard, impermeable, and resistant to new information. This doesn't make them bad people. It just makes them unsuitable soil for the seeds of wisdom you want to plant. Instead of wasting your seeds on concrete, find good soil. But here's where most people make their mistake. They take it personally when someone refuses to accept obvious truth. They think it's a reflection of their ability to communicate or their worth as a person. Listen to me. Someone else's refusal to accept reality has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. When someone argues that the sky is green when it's clearly blue, that's not about your inability to point upward. When someone insists that fire is cold when they can feel the heat, that's not about your failure to explain temperature. When someone claims that water flows uphill when gravity demonstrates otherwise, that's not about your inadequate teaching skills. Some people have made a commitment to being wrong, and no amount of evidence will change their minds. Your job is not to force them to see. Your job is to protect your energy for people and purposes that matter. The traffic light never argued back with that man. It just continued doing what traffic lights do, following its programming, serving its purpose, maintaining its function. The light didn't take his anger personally. It didn't try to defend itself. It didn't waste energy trying to convince him that red means stop is the wisdom you need to adopt. When someone wants to argue with your obvious truth, become like that traffic light. Stay in your purpose, maintain your function. Don't take their resistance personally. Let them spend their energy while you conserve yours for something that actually matters.